Welcome all for the today's webinar 7, Munyal Ayurveda webinar 7. Good afternoon all. Today we have an eminent speaker with us with an interesting topic on discussion with a case study on an arachnoid cyst done by Dr. Pramod Sheth, Associate Professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, Munyal Institute of Ayurveda. Sir has a vast experience in Rasayana Chikitsa from his PG days and has a wonderful guidance from renowned teachers and practitioners like UN Prasad, Dr. Srinivas Acharya sir. Sir done his UG and PG from Kaya Chikitsa from SDM Udupi, and sir has a lot of international, national and CME scientific paper presentation in his name. After completion of PG, he has worked in a various organizations as Chief Ayurvedic Consultant in Goswal Private Limited. After that, he joined an assistant professor in KLE, worked there for 3 to 4 years in the KLE BMK Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya Belgaum, and later he joined Munyal Institute of Ayurveda as associate professor, and he is presently a now associate professor in Kaya Chikitsa. Sir had been a chairperson during his term in a scientific session like Samprasha in 2016, Pragati in 2017. Sir also given various live TV program shows and radio programs and written a few articles based on cancer therapy in local newspaper during his term. Today, sir will elaborate and tell an interesting explanation on his case study, that is arachnoid cyst. Over to you, sir. I will give the session to the Dr. Pramod Sheth for continuing the session.
Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all for today's presentation. So today's presentation is basically an clinical experience which I had in the past, and this was a first of a kind case which was seen in my clinical practice also, and very important eye opener for myself also. Okay, so we are going to discuss about an important case, that is final arachnoid cyst. Okay, so this was I will be discussing about this case who was under my made me so the Ausada, even Panchakarma also, for maybe past 6 months, and from the year January 2016 to January 2019 to June or July 2019. For 6 months, I had follow up, and by when it was almost June or July, she was almost near normal, I can say, around 80 to 90% recovery, and couldn't get follow up after that. But satisfactory results were there, as a result of which I think this is a very important case, a very good case also. So let me start with the case presentation. Okay, so yeah, so this was a 35-year-old female, okay, lady, okay, who had reported here in the month of January 2019. Okay, so she was complaining of basically she was 35-year-old female from Karkala. Okay, reported to here on 7th of January 2019. Okay, so I hope you are able to see the screen. So these are the main complaints. Okay, so she was suffering from the complaints, that is low backache radiating to whole extent of both the extremities. Okay, associated with tickling sensation, reported to the outpatient department of Munyal Ayurveda Hospital and Research Institute on 7th January 2019. Okay, so no comorbidities as such, not a known case of diabetes, mellitus, hypertension, or thyroid, or any such kind of illnesses. The complaint she had was from the past 2 years, that is from somewhere at the earlier part of 2017, and the main important thing was there was no history of trauma as such. Okay. To elaborate about the main complaint, she was suffering from the lower backache, as I've said before. The onset was said to be gradual in nature, okay, gradual in nature, and with the acute exacerbations and remissions, depending on situations, okay. The character of pain was pulling type, radiating to both the lower limbs. Okay, pulling type of pain was present. Aggravating factor was lifting heavy weights, and the relieving factor was said to be rest. Okay, severity was said to be mild in the beginning, but when she reported here, it was said to be moderately severe. Okay, and in some instances, it is considered to be severe also. So she had consulted with various places. Okay, even she was suggested to go to a neurosurgeon, and she also went to a neurosurgeon, and the neurosurgeon first had treated conservatively. Okay, only by giving non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, multivitamins, etc., etc., with which she could find only partial relief, and no encouraging results were there. So she was getting relief for some time, and after which again she was, you know, getting those symptoms back. So, she was very much upset. Okay, so she was not able to do her routine activities. She was just young, a 35-year-old lady with a 4 or 5-year-old kid. Frustrated that she cannot take care of her kid. Can't give her kid a bath. Can't do the daily course, maybe washing clothes, washing vessels, etc., etc. She was a housewife basically, because of which she was suffering from all the mental trauma and stress. And since it was not giving, she was not getting any sort of encouraging results. The neurosurgeon finally advised that why not go for a surgery. Okay, so she was advised to go for a surgery, and she was basically a lower belonging to a lower middle class category. So she considering the cost factors, okay, which are there with the surgery, and the complications which are coming across because of these kind of surgery. So basically, whenever there is the cyst in the spine, can either you have to put a shunt or maybe you have to remove the cyst. Okay, and at the same time, there is a high chance that you know she might get bladder problems, bowel problems, and damage to the all the other spinal nerves which are there near and near. So hearing that, what she did, she was advised to go for Ayurveda. So she had never taken or consulted an Ayurveda physician before. So she came to Munial Ayurveda Hospital with some reference, and she consulted here on 7th January 2019. Okay, so continuing with the history part, no past medical or surgical history. That she had a kid, a 5-year-old with normal vaginal delivery. Personal history was said to be almost fine. Diet was mixed. Appetite was good. Sleep was disturbed because of pain. Bowel was regular once a day. Okay. At times it was hard. Okay. Habits nothing specific, and micturition 4 to 5 times a day. And the physical examination revealed build being normosonic, and other points like pyloric sinus clubbing edema absent. She was moderately built, blood pressure and other parameters were said to be within normal range. Examinations, all the other systemic examinations revealed to be normal, except for the locomotor examination. So when this was these points were recorded when she had consulted to our OPD on 7th of January 2019. So on examination, there was kyphoscoliosis present. There were with severe tenderness in L4, L5, and L5S1. There was also paraspinal muscle spasm was also evident. Okay, gait was antalgic. She was finding it difficult to walk properly. Then when I went for special test, SLR was found to be negative. Along with that, regards the elasticase, Bowstring's, and all those signs of the test for nerve root completion, they were all positive. And when I went for a sensory examination, so superficial, there was some sort of disturbance in the sensory department also. So touch, temperature, pain was decreased, vibration, joint position sense were present, and other points like cortical, like tactile localization, tactile discrimination were all present. Luckily, organic reflexes of bowel and bladder were also intact. Okay, and D-tendon reflexes. So there was some sort of exaggerated reflex which I found in the right side when compared to the left side, even though she had complained of bilateral pain. Okay, so these were the important findings of the examination. You can see the MRI report here. You can see the cyst also, which you can see in the image. Okay, So you can see the report. The date is 10/1/2018. Okay, it was done in some hospital in Mangalore. You can see that apart from the perineural cyst or arachnoid cyst, all the reports are normal. So there is no disc prolapse. Okay, nothing is there. Only the arachnoid cyst the perineural cyst was absent. Okay, seeing the patient, I thought that there might be some evidence of disc protrusion at the level of L5, S1, etc., etc. But I had examined on the January month of 2019, which is exactly 1 year after this report. But this report was 1 year old. Okay, so I had a small doubt in my mind. Okay, whether so this prolapse was not, there was no evidence of this prolapse in this report, which was seen 1 year back. But probably now she has the evidence of this prolapse also. Okay, so I actually asked for a repeat, MRI. Okay, because I wanted to confirm that point. Okay, whether there is any disc prolapse. Okay, with along with canal stenosis, if it is present or not. That actually I wanted to see. But again, she was not in a position to go for a repeat MRI because of again cost constraints. So she just requested that whatever, based on whatever the reports which are present in the particular patient with which he is carrying. So why please try to start the treatment. Okay, seeing those reports only, and she was not in a position to go for a second MRI. Okay, so keeping this in mind. Uh, this was the final diagnosis that I LS radiculopathy L4, L5, L5S1. So a clinical this was a clinical diagnosis along with the incidental finding of arachnoid cyst. Okay, and as she was complaining of pain and along with the numbness which was present, so I thought it to be Vata Kapacha Gridhrasi, variant of Gridhrasi, and started treatment accordingly. Okay, so basically treatment protocol I've divided into three parts. There is first phase, second phase, and the third phase. Okay, so uh, looking into symptoms, she strongly looked like the Vata dominant and Kapha associated lower back ache or the Gridhrasi. Okay, at times even she was complaining of burning sensation also. So even I was worried that whether there is any Mishra-Avarana Lakshana which is present there or not. Okay, so I thought I'll take chance with treating her in the line of Vata Kapacha Gridhrasi itself. Okay, I prefer to consider the treatment from the Avarana point of view. Keeping these points in mind, I started treatment. I started with only oral medicine at the beginning. Actually, I started and asked her for admission also. Okay, and again she was not willing for admission because many factors, cost being one of the important factor. So we all know, okay, that Shilajit is one of the important drug, okay, or herb, the herbomineral formulation as far as the Avarana is concerned, which is very well mentioned in Charaka Samhita. So I thought I'll start with Shilajatu, okay, because it is Vatahara also, Kapahara also. It is helpful in case of Avarana also. And along with the Anapan of Shira, I thought if I'm giving, I can uh, reduce the side effects or ill effects which are caused because of the Shilajatu also. Okay, so this was the first prescription, Shilajatu. Okay, tab Shilajatu. So somewhere the 500 milligram tablets which were available in our pharmacy. So they were started in a dose of 1 TID. Then Trayodashangugulu, okay, another important routine prescription which is containing Bala, Ashwagandha, then Gugulu, all those important ingredients. Okay, so that was again advised in the dose of 1 TID. And for the purpose of again Vata Aluman, I thought I can give Rasna Iranda the Kashaya Rasna along with Rasna is again potent Vata Haradravya, Iranda is again Anuloma Karadravya. Okay, so I thought I'll start with this prescription. Okay, this was the prescription which was started, and Dhanvantra Taila also, Dhanvantra Taila for local application. Okay, maybe twice or thrice a day according to the convenience of the patient. So this was the first basic prescription. So this was given for a period of 21 days. Okay, because she was coming from a far off place, Karkada, 40 kilometers, so she was not in a position to come every week for follow-up. So I gave her for 3 weeks. Okay, so this was the first phase of the treatment. Okay, so second phase, she was again I asked for admission. I will show you the results in the later slides. So just I'll show you the treatment, what the protocol what I followed. This was second phase. So I again from the point of view of the our the basic the Shuddhikaraka. So I thought I'll go with the yeah, the Nitya Virechana or Eranda Thaila for the purpose, for the same purpose. I started with Eranda Thaila 20 ml early morning, empty stomach at around 7 o'clock. Okay, so again she was not willing for admission, so I was in contact with her on phone, so that can be done at home. Okay, along with the Shunti Kwata, so that has not been mentioned here. So that was a popular prescription which I used during my PG days, okay, which were taught by my teachers. So that was a prescription Irinathaila along with Shunti Kwata, okay, so as to cause deepen also and also reduce the side effects of Irinathaila also to improve palatability, etc. And Shamana Aushadhi during that period also again I continued the same Shamana Aushadhi, because there was satisfactory result from this Shamana Aushadhi. That is, Shilajatu was continued, Trayodashanga Gulu was continued, and Rasna Iranda Kashai was also continued. Then uh, after that, uh, after say 15 days, again she complained of again pain. Okay, pain was reduced, but she was again complaining of localized pain. Okay, so I asked her to come for Kati Basti. Okay, again she was not willing for admission, so she stayed in some of her relatives' home in Udupi, and she used to come take the Kati Basti and go. Then she had complained of you know uh, the burning sensation, okay, in the stomach. So I thought if whether there is any sort of side effect which is caused by Shilajit because it is Pittahara. So if there is there might don't know what might be exact cause. So I keeping that in mind, I thought I'll replace Shilajit, and also pain was also a bit more when compared to the previous follow up. So I thought I start with the Shallaki. Okay, so Shallaki MR. Okay, so that was started in TDS, was an expensive medicine, but I had no option, so I thought I'll start with that. Okay, so I started the dose of 1 TID along with the Anapan of Jala, Trayendra Shangulu, Rasayana Kashayan, and Dhanvantra Tailam were continued. Okay, so this was the second course of treatment, and the next phase. Okay, she was again willing for admission, so she was advised admission. So during this course, this was the protocol of treatment. What is followed? Okay, so like the Sarvanga Abhyangam, so Snehana was considered to be the prime. Snehana and Basti was thought to be the prime line of treatment. Okay, so she was started with Sarvanga Abhyanga with the Mahanarana Thera, followed by the Bashpa Sweda. Okay, Pallavarna Karabasti, which is again containing Madhu, Grata, Tailam. Okay, which is mentioned in Charakasuddhisthana. So that was advised. Okay, I did a bit change in the formulation. I added Dashamula Kwata also, okay, and which is actually not present in that particular formulation, which is classically present. There is Palavarna Karabasti plus I added Dashamula Kwata also, okay, to that particular formulation. So that was used as Astapana, and Anuvasana was used, the Anuvasana for the same. Okay, I used the Dhanvantra Thailam, that was used as the Shamana, sorry, the Anuvasana Basti for dosage of 50 days, 50 for 50 ml. Shamana Shuddhi, where again I stopped Shilajatu. Pain was a bit reduced. My focus was that Avarana is the main thing, and so that reason I started again Shilajatu, switched back to again Shilajatu, and Trayodashanga Gul again I started, which was continued. Then I started with Nityananda. So because she was complaining of more of heaviness, okay, so which is actually integrated in Shlipata Roga Adhikara, but all the ingredients which are there in Nityananda, they are mainly Kafara, then Lekhana action. So I thought I'll select the Nityananda and I started with Nityananda along with Anapan of Jalam. Then Rasa Iranda Kasha, and along with the Sachara, I added Sachara Kasha this time, along with the Rasa Iranda Kasha. Okay, and along with equal quantity of the jala. Okay, so these are the follow-ups and results. So she did not give me complete follow-up, okay, regularly. Okay, so but wherever she had come, I have recorded the follow-ups. Okay, so first follow-up she gave me on 28th. Okay, some of the follow-up are face-to-face follow-ups wherein she had come to hospital and then she had reported. Some other follow-ups are by phone also. Okay, so by telephonic conversation also. So this was the follow-up which was given by her. So on 20th, she told that pain has been reduced, heaviness, tingling sensation reduced by almost 50%. But she said that okay, it is still severe. Okay, but it is reduced. But she wasn't still satisfied. Then after which she agreed for second course of treatment, wherein the Nitya Virechana and Kati Basti was advised. So after Nitya Virechana was advised, and when after the completion of Nitya Virechana and Katibasti, the pain, reduced by almost 60 to 70%. Okay. So when I took the follow up on 19th, okay, and again she gave me follow up on 13th March, okay, where she said that pain and pain was aggravated, but it was not so much. Okay, tingling sensation was also a bit more when compared to previously, and heaviness, no change was there. Okay, so after which she was advised admission. So for 15 days, she vanished, and again for she, she was ready for admission. She came back on first, and she stayed in the hospital for 7 days. And during that particular course at admission, she told that she had continued the same medicine, and she had gone to a nearby hospital. She had took some injection also, but which reduced the pain for 12 hours or so, 30 or 1 day. And after which she continued the same oral medicine. She took it in some medical, Ayurvedic medical, and she continued the same medicine. So pain was better. Okay, so pain was reduced according to her. According to her words, it was 60%. And again, after completion of treatment, she was better by almost 10%. So 70% pain was reduced. Okay, in the month of the April. Then after which the when it came to the May, okay, so she came for follow up, okay, on the month of the May, and she told that she's pain is very much reduced, and she doesn't have much problem, and pain is almost 90% reduced. Okay, and muscle power was also has been increased. So muscle power was a bit reduced when I examined. It was somewhere around 4 minus, and main concern was pain, heaviness, and tingling sensation. So that was reduced, okay, markedly around 90%. She was comparatively better. Okay, so after which uh, she uh, came in the month of June 2019 for follow up. Okay, she had carried the old MRI slip, okay, which I had given in the month of January. With that MRI slip itself, she went for the MRI, repeat MRI. Okay, so you can see in the previous MRI report there was no disc prolapse. Okay, that was in the month of 2018. But when I examined her in that particular month, I had all the symptoms of the disc prolapse were all positive. Okay, so probably what the report which is being there, which is there here, that is L4 L5 disc pulse, L4 L5 and L5 S1 disc pulse with minor spinal canal stenosis. So that was probably there, or maybe it was more. Okay, we don't know actually what was the status. So probably I think this thing was there, maybe 6 months to maybe 8 months back. Okay, we could not catch it. Okay, radiologically, because we did not go for, she was not willing to go for repeat MRI. And but the interesting thing what I noticed was, there was a reduction in the size of the cyst. Okay, so now there is difference of opinion by the radiologist as far as concerned. Some of them, they say they are, it is an arachnoid cyst, and in this particular report it is a Tarlov cyst. So the actual report I'm not carrying with me. Okay, so it is there in my old laptop. It got my old laptop is in the repair. So this was a very encouraging factor. Okay, so previously uh, pain was severe. Okay, pain is reduced. Okay, so that happens in every patient. We see a lot of patients who are belonging to this category, and over a period of 1 week of hospitalization, definitely we can assure that 60 to 70% relief we are going to get. Okay, that is evident. Fine, but over a period of 6 months, over a period of 2 years. Okay, so no, the old MRI was done in the month of January 2017, 18, and over a period of 1.5 years under my treatment, six months or so. Okay, so there was reduction in size. So I can't say that it is because of treatment, but after treatment you can say there is the reduction of cyst in size is present along with the clinical improvement. Okay, so that I think can be attributed to the Ayurveda line of management, because even the modern parallels, they do not have an answer so as to how that cyst comes. There are many theories that are existing so as far as the presence of the cyst and the evolution of cyst. Okay, and the indication suggest. So usually they indicate when the cyst is being enlarged, it becomes huge, and then whenever it is causing the nerve roots, causing the bowel bladder symptoms, the disturbance to organic fluxes, then they advise it to remove. Okay, so that usually happens. So from the discussion part, what I felt was when I diagnosed, so I felt that it was Vata Kapha variant of Hridasi. Sometimes I even felt Vishravarana. I even told that okay, I will not guarantee any sort of assurance with regards to the line of treatment because the classical text also says Vishravarana, which is more than 1 year old, it is difficult to manage. Okay, so but clinically she got improvement, that was encouraging, and so Vata Kapha Hridasi and Avarana line of treatment was adopted with Vata dominance. Considering the above, the Basti was uh, the treatment modality which was adopted here. Okay, there is Balavarnakara Basti plus the Dashamula Vata. Okay, which are modified. Then encouraging results were got with regards to reduction in pain, tingling, pricking sensation, and numbness. So repeated MRI needed to look for changes in dimension cyst. So maybe in future follow-ups are also needed. So we can't say that okay, now the cyst is reduced. Okay, it is completely. Uh, we can't conclude that okay, she is free from her illness. Okay, so anytime the cyst might enlarge, we don't know. Okay, but you know if we think from this particular direction that okay, the Ayurveda line of management can go up to deep up to that particular dhatu level, or you can say Gambhira dhatu level. Okay. What we have meant, we find in various kind of the text, various kind of conditions. So if it is going and if it is working at that particular way, it is really enterprising. What I feel. So this particular case gives a lot of confidence to treat in such kind of case also. So then conclusion to conclude, yeah. So lower backache is the most commonest clinical problem in day-to-day practice. So which we, as Ayurveda fraternity, we are seeing a lot of such patients on a day-to-day basis. Many of the patients which we are getting, are purely belonging to this particular category. Okay, and this being a rare case. Okay, actually the cyst is very common, but uh, for this me it was the first case which I got a chance to treat. Okay, for me it was definitely a rare case, and I have in my past maybe 13 or 14 years of experience with Ayurveda, you know, including my UG days, PG days, and days of practice. I myself haven't seen any case of arachnoid cyst, okay, being treated from the point of view of Ayurveda. Okay, so this was, I think, a wonderful opportunity for myself to try and treat also. Okay, so again, it was an incidental finding. What I personally feel also. Okay, it might have been producing some of the symptoms, and we don't know whether it was whether the cyst was further large, whether it is reduced in between and again enlarged in the beginning. We don't know. Okay, but if we compare the reports of previous MRI and then if we compare, then we can say there is some improvement. So the patient was again removed owing to the cost factor, and treatment protocol was the Avada Samprapya Vadosha. This was also one of the thing which was kept in mind, and this we can say that okay, definitely it is assuring, and this particular treatment protocol okay can be tried, which can give definitely encouraging results at the fraction of the cost of surgery. But we definitely need that we definitely need further follow-ups. Okay, so we cannot conclude that okay, definitely this is the gold standard. Maybe other lines of management or maybe further you know thinking in this particular direction is further required as far as the management of such kind of conditions okay, is concerned. Okay, so I think this is the case which is one very important, very rare case, okay, which we get to see also. So I thank the institute, that is Munial Ayurveda Hospital and Munial Institute of Ayurveda Medical Sciences, for giving me the opportunity, including principal, the department, the management, the staff, everyone. I thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to share my small experience with with you everyone. So if you have any queries, you might ask any queries if you are having.
Thank you, Dr. Pramod, for giving your excellent experience on rare arachnoid cyst. Any queries, you can unmute yourself and ask. Only 5 minutes remaining, 6 minutes remaining for the session. If you have any doubt in this, you can ask. Let me start the question and answer with one question, sir. When you told about the Basti and when you was telling about the Lakshanas and all Vata Kafaja, whether Sharabasti was an helpful in her in this case, and what was the better aspect? Was there anything you can tell on the Sharabasti can be given in this condition?
Yes, sir, definitely. Charabasti, you can add Charam as an avapa. So you can add that can be added. As the patient was government of Uttar Pradesh, and I was having some exam with the Lakshana also. I preferred not to go for Dictionary and I preferred to go for Anuloma and then for the Basti. So that's how we felt that it was not prepared for this particular. It just was definitely wherever you are suspected, definitely right to go for the the utility of Chara. Definitely that can be. So that is even can be utilized very well also.
Okay, so thank you, sir. Any questions from any participant? You can unmute yourself and ask the question about the treatment. So sir has been explaining you, and it's an for a budding doctors, it's a wonderful case presentation that you can confidently treat a case, which is a very good result in Ayurveda also. Need not get panicked when you see such MRI report. Only see the Lakshanas properly and the doshas, and accordingly select the medicine. Watch beautifully sir has done that, and you will get an absolutely a very good result in the cases. Okay, so any doubt is there for final year students who are there? You have seen anything? Yeah, any doubt is there? There is one more option. You can email to munialayurveda.yahoo.in. Yeah, it will be told in YouTube also. Link will be sent. You can you can mail your doubts there, so that answer will be given by the eminent professor. So I will hand over the mic to our principal, Dr. Satyanarayana sir, to conclude the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Suraj. Hearty congratulations to Dr. Pramod for excellent presentation. It was very specific, pinpointed. Also congratulate for your clinical success in that particular case. A rare case, very interesting case, a thought-provoking presentation for all budding doctors. My thanks to Dr. Suraj for effectively moderating the session. Sincere thanks to all of you who have joined today's webinar and made it valuable. And in coming webinars, we expect more active participation from your side. Hope to see you soon next week with the new topic and new speakers. Continue your support. Thank you so much.